Hello. Today we're going to start Chapter 3, Lesson 1. We're going to talk about parallel lines, skew lines, and two lines cut by a transversal and their angle pair relationships that exist. First, our basic vocab words. Some of them you might have heard of before. For example, parallel lines. I'm sure you've heard of those before. Those are coplanar lines that do not intersect. No matter how far they stretch, they will never intersect, they will never cross each other. A quick sketch. Here I have two lines that I attempted to draw to the best of my ability as parallel. I'm going to name them line L and line M. Now, as we talked about many times in class, mathematicians like to come up with shortcuts because we don't want to write out the full word. So we come up with symbols to denote this. So when you're doing a worksheet, you might see this. Line L. Now, is parallel to, three words grouped into one symbol, is parallel to two long bars. Looks like the absolute value bars with nothing inside. Line M. So here it says line L is parallel to line M. Now, they had to tell you in the instructions lines are parallel, or they can put something on the diagram itself to show that they are parallel. What will they put on the diagram? They're going to put these little arrows on here. They can't put tick marks because lines are never congruent because they go on forever. But you might see arrows, someone like this. If you see two arrows sketched on the diagram like this, not at the ends, somewhere on the line itself, this denotes that the two lines are parallel. New vocab word, you may have never heard of these, skew lines. Skew lines are related to parallel lines, but they're different in one big way. They are non-coplanar. They will not be on the same plane at all. Therefore, if they're non-coplanar, they cannot intersect. Now, to draw a sketch of skew lines is very difficult when you're dealing with a flat board. You can't really sketch skew lines unless you draw a three-dimensional shape and then name the lines like that. Skew lines, if I use these two yardsticks as an example, these would be an example of parallel. Skew lines now look like this. Okay, if you look at them from one view, looking at them straight on, it almost looks like they intersect. But in fact, there is a space or a gap between them. So they do not intersect, and they will never intersect. Those are skew lines. The textbook, what they will do is they will draw a sketch something like this. Now we'll refer to the segments or the edges of this prism to denote skew lines. So they will say like this front corner is skewed to the back bottom corner. That's just one example. There's multiple skew lines within this diagram itself. Parallel planes. Just like you would think with parallel lines, parallel planes are planes that do not intersect. There's an example of parallel planes right now all around us. The left wall and the right wall are parallel planes. The front wall and the back wall are parallel planes. Or the ceiling and the floor would be an example of parallel planes. Granted, if construction was done correctly and everything's level and plumb. Now, the other big word for this lesson is transversal. Transversal, very basic. It's just a line that intersects two or more other lines. That's all it is. So if I have several lines, So here I'm going to draw two lines. Now they do not have to be parallel in order to have a transversal. So here I'm going to purposely draw these not parallel. Here's my two lines. The transversal would be referred to as this one. This one would be considered the transversal because it's intersecting both of these lines. Now, when I have a transversal, you'll see there's 4 angles around here, and there's 4 angles around here. They have special names. And we're going to talk about those names right here. So this is the exterior and the interior related to the 2 lines and the transversal. Notice they are not parallel. We're going to talk about special cases when they're parallel in the next lesson. There, now I can see my whole diagram a lot better. Here are the 4 main types of angle pair relationships within this chapter that we're going to talk a lot about and deal with, especially with parallel lines. Consecutive interior angles. Now notice the words consecutive in order and interior. Now when I'm talking about these 4 angle pair relationships, I'm going to take one angle from this top group and one angle from this bottom group. Consecutive interior. Interior angles that are on the same side of the transversal. So here's my transversal. I want 2 angles on the same side. So example, 4 and 5. 4 is on the left, 5 is on the left. These are consecutive interior angles. There's another pair, 3 and 6. Angle 3, angle 6. They're both on the right side of the transversal. Looking at alternate interior. Now look, I'm still on the inside, but now I want to alternate sides of the transversal. They are non-adjacent. That's a key word right there. Non-adjacent interior angles, opposite sides of the transversal. So here, they said angles 3 and 5. Notice 3 is on the right, 5 is on the left. Again, one from the top group, one from the bottom group. Non-adjacent. I would not say angle 3 and 4. They're adjacent. So these are not considered alternate interior. It's 3 and 5. The other pair, angle 4 and angle 6. Now angle 4 is on the left, angle 6 is on the right. Those are alternate interior angles. Now we're going to switch it up. Alternate exterior. Now we're outside. Again, non-adjacent, opposite sides of the transversal. So the first pair they named me, angle 1 and angle 7. One from the top group, one from the bottom group. One's on the left, 7's on the right. The other pair, angle 2 is on the right, angle 8 is on the left. Right, left. Different sides of the transversal, not next to each other. Very important to be non-adjacent. Now notice here I have 2 pairs, 2 pairs, 2 pairs. Corresponding angles are the only pair relationships that actually have 4 pair. Corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal and the same sides of both of your lines, Q and R in this case. Corresponding angles, I tell a lot of students, is if you take this group of 4 angles and we're able to magically pick them up, bring them right down and put them right on top of these, what angle would go on top of what angle? They're on the same exact position. So the first pair they named was angle 1 and angle 5. Notice where angle 1 is. It's on the top of line Q and it's on the left of the transversal. So down here, the top of line R and the left of the transversal. So 1 and 5, those are corresponding. 2, now I'm still on the top of line Q, but now on the right side of the transversal. So down here at angle R, which one's on the top and on the right? Well, that's angle 6. Like I said, there's 4 pair. Then move on to angle 3. Now we're on the bottom of line Q, but still on the right. So down here, who's on the bottom and on the right? Well, that's angle 7. And then the last pair, 4, now we're on the bottom, but now we jump to the left side. So down here, which one's on the bottom and to the left? Well, that would be angle 8. So 4 and 8. Again, corresponding angles are the only ones with 4 pair of angles. All the others only have 2. So those are the main groups of angle pair relationships that we're going to talk about, especially when we get into parallel lines, and we're going to look at how their measures are related when we get to parallel lines. Okay, so now we have our vocab out of the way. Let's look at example 1. think of each segment in this figure as part of a line, because that's what segments are. They're parts of a line. Which line or planes fit the description outlined in part A, B, C, and D? Now, first thing I want you to know is in your notes, folks, there's some errors in the diagram itself. I have A, B, C, D, E, F. The G is missing from this corner, so please add that. And change this A to an H. That should actually be an H. We can't have 2 point A's on the same diagram. Now, if I'm looking at A, B, and C, they all refer to line AF. So what I want to do is I want to highlight line F so I know which one we're looking at for all 3 of these questions. Line AF is this top corner right here. Okay, that's the top of my prism. Now, line A, which line appears to be parallel to AF and contains point E? Because there's multiple lines that are parallel to AF, but they only want the one that contains point E. So if I'm looking at my diagram, notice AF is coming from the back to the front. So what other segments do that? Well, BG is parallel to it, CH is parallel to it, DI is parallel to it, and EJ is parallel to it. But again, they only wanted the one that contains point E. So my answer for letter A is line EJ. Whoops. Now again, since I'm naming a line, notice the correct symbolism used. Okay. B now wants skew, still to line AF. That's why I highlighted it in red, so I know which one we're talking about. Skew to AF, but still contains point E. Now there's lots of skew lines to AF. Again, AF is going from front to back. Now I named all these other segments that were parallel to it, so it's none of those. Those are parallel. Skew is non-coplanar, but still does not intersect. Okay? There's lots of skew lines. CD would be skew. HI would be skew. BC would be skew. GH would be skew. JI would be skew. And ED would be skew. Okay? Because again, AF is like the top of that prism. Okay? Here's CD down here. See how there's a gap between them? Same thing with BC. It's over here. Going up on an angle. But again, they only wanted the one that contains point E, which is this guy over here, which if we name it is line ED. Continue on now. Letter C wants line or lines perpendicular to AF. So still dealing with the red line I highlighted up top. Perpendicular to line AF and contains point E. Now, some of you are probably thinking, Mr. Binder, there's no 90-degree angle marks. They want to know which ones appear to be perpendicular. So they're not going to draw the boxes. Okay? There is, in fact, at least 4 that are perpendicular to AF. BA is perpendicular. GF is perpendicular, JF is perpendicular, and EA is perpendicular. Again, they're not going to draw all those little boxes. It'll get way too confusing on this diagram. So which one is perpendicular, also containing point E? That would be line EA. Now, A, B, and C dealt with line AF. D wants to know plane or planes that are parallel to plane FGH. So notice they used the G and the H, but they weren't in the diagram. That's why we had to add them. So let me get rid of our highlighted line, because now we're not talking about that anymore. If I'm referring to plane FGH, look where FGH is. FGH. FGH, if I highlight those 3 points, let me switch to red. FGH, FGH. That's not just the plane. The plane is, again, what plane are all 3 of these points on right here? That's the whole backside of this prism. So FGH is actually this whole pentagon in the back. What's parallel to the back? The front. Now there's 5 letters on the front, A, B, C, D, and E. Folks, when you name a plane, remember, you only need 3 letters to name a plane. You can use any 3 of those letters that you want in any order. Again, textbook is going to go with 3 alphabetical ones. So they're going to say plane A, B, C. ABC is parallel to FGH. There's example 1. Moving on to example 2, using this diagram, they want me to A, name the corresponding angles, B, the alternate interior angles, C, alternate exterior angles, and D, the consecutive interior angles. Keep in mind, corresponding angles are the only angle pair relationships that have 4 pairs. All the others only have 2 pairs. So let's look at letter A, corresponding angles. Look at this group of 4 angles and this group of 4 angles. Which ones are in the exact same position? So if I start with angle 1, notice angle 1 is on the top of the transversal and it's on the left. Look at the other set of 4. Which one is also on the top and on the left? So angle 1 would correspond to angle 3. What would be the second pair? Moving on, angle 2, still on the top of the transversal, but now I'm on the left side of the line. So angle 2 corresponds to angle 4. Now we go to the bottom of the transversal. 5 is on the bottom and it's on the left. 5 corresponds to angle 7. And then the last pair of corresponding angles, angle 6 would correspond to angle 8. There's your 4 pair of corresponding angles. B wants alternate interior. Now keep in mind, where is the interior? This would be the interior between these 2 lines. So now you have to alternate, one from the top, one from the bottom. So 2 is alternate interior with angle 7. And the other pair, 6 is alternate interior with angle 3. Moving on to letter C is alternate exterior. Now remember, exterior is outside. What are outside and alternate? So if I'm on the outside, if I pick angle 1 is alternate exterior with angle 8. The other pair, angle 5, is alternate exterior to angle 4. Letter D, they want me to name the consecutive interior angles. Now again, we're back on the inside. Remember, the inside is right in here. Consecutive, which, believe it or not, have another name, sometimes are referred to as sometimes consecutive interior angles are called same side interior angles because they're on the same side of the transversal. So 2 is on the same side of the transversal as angle 3. And then the other pair, 6, is on the same side as angle 7. And there you have it. There's all of our corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior, and consecutive interior angle pairs. On the next page of notes, the first 4 questions refer to this diagram. Go ahead and try to answer these questions on your own, and then we'll review the answers. Then scroll down to these 2 questions and just classify the angles as consecutive interior, alternate exterior, or corresponding angles. Number 1, referring to the diagram, what is parallel to line MN but goes through point J? Line JL. Number 2, now they want skew to MN, still going through point J. That would be line JK. No joke, it's JK. Now, perpendicular to MN but contains point J. Again, which one appears to be perpendicular? I know they're not going to draw all the boxes, so which one appears perpendicular? That would be line JN. And then number 4, name the plane that contains point J and appears to be parallel to MNO. Where is MNO? MNO. Appears to be the back of the prism. So what is parallel to the back? That would be the front. J, K, L. Here's the answers for the first 4 questions. Number 6, what kind of angle pair relationships are these? Notice 3 and 4, where are they at? They're both on the inside. So they're interior. Now, are they alternate interior or consecutive interior? Remember, consecutive interior also have that hidden nickname, same side interior. Notice they're both on the same side. So you can call them same side interior or consecutive interior. I personally prefer the name same side interior. Number 7, where is angle 1 and angle 2? Well, they're both on the outside, so there's some sort of exterior. 1 appears to be on the left, 2 is on the right, so that would be alternate exterior. And there you have it, folks. Go ahead and try your worksheet and do the problems on your own.